Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prospero.ai Stock Market Lives. We officially have our FOMC decision. They have cut rates by 0.25%, and the market is reacting all over the place. We've had up moves, we've had down moves. It looked like it was heading down, but now we're just seeing a rebound. So all of this is happening live. The market is digesting the decision, and now Jerome Powell speaking. So we'll have to see throughout the stream today. We're going to be live for the rest of the while the market is open. So we'll have to see what the moves are. When George gets in here, we'll give you some light on how he's viewing everything. But it's a pretty epic and major day in the markets. Welcome in. Hit that like button if you love the live streams. We're going to give you in-depth coverage on the FOMC decision and the meeting that was announced in the decision today. That'll probably be a lot of the stream in the beginning. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to comment them. A lot of things are going on right now. The Prospero net option sentiments actually went down for the SPY and the QQQ leading into this. And we're seeing the SPY at 0 and the QQQ at 14. So not any kind of recovery really since the decision has come out. Like I was saying, the markets are kind of bouncing around, but they actually are heading back towards the flat line right now. The Russell and the Dow are actually green on the day. The QQQ and the SPY are red, and the VIX is in the green. So there's a lot left to be decided, it seems like, before we know one way or the other if this market, this melt up, this bull rally will continue, or if we're about to, get onto the other side and give a little bit of it back. But we're also going to talk about some other stock-specific news stories here today. First of all, Nvidia facing more pressure from China, and Jensen Huang has actually responded now to it. So it seems to be becoming a pretty serious thing for them. Their stock was down about 3% today. Let's look now and see how it is moving after the rate cuts. So Nvidia is okay. It's down about 2.5% right now. So not much has changed, but that initial move in the morning was all from the China headline, and now you have Jensen Huang speaking about it. So we will see what George thinks about that, because I don't know if Jensen Huang, he's a smooth operator, but I don't know if he's going to be able to manage this when it seems like very contentious. Mario's in the chat. Afternoon, CDMX. All will be good. Wait one day. Okay, Mario. We will wait to see how it goes tomorrow. You're right. I think the day after the FOMC meeting is really the big mover. We will also be getting into Lyft, which announced a partnership with Waymo, and we covered this side of the story from the Google, Amazon, Tesla perspective on Monday, but now we can cover it from the Uber and Lyft perspective. Lyft shares were up a lot because of this news, and Uber was down. So maybe it seemed like Uber was selected as the winner of this industry by the market over Lyft. Lyft shares had not done well, but maybe this new industry can revitalize Lyft, and they are up 13% still. They were up as much as 22%. So Lyft shares are moving higher. Then we'll get into Reddit, favorite in the Prospero signals. Reddit has had some of the strongest net option sentiment and upside breakout for a while now. They came out with a news story today that they are renegotiating or reworking a new deal with Google to use their content in terms of AI training. And I want to ask George how he feels about the long term, if this business for Reddit is like kind of a flash in the pan, and while all these companies are training their AIs and LLMs are really hot right now, if Reddit is cashing in and this isn't going to last forever, or if he believes we're in this new AI wave where companies will always pay for data going forward, even after these models have been initially trained, or some of the biggest ones have been trained. Then I want to bring up Target and Walmart again, because there has been a continued divergence in these shares that has gotten even greater throughout this year as the year has gone on. Target is not looking great for shareholders. They're very red year to date, down. Let me get them pulled up. Down over 34% now, while Walmart has done the opposite. They were up 16% about, yes, approaching 17% up on the year. And I saw rumors floating around that Amazon might be a good company to acquire Target. So I want to get George's opinion on that, if that would even be allowed. And then if he sees this continuing for both of the companies, because it can only continue for so long, it seems like. But so we asked him a while ago, maybe now's the time where it's actually going to flip back to becoming like where Target can outperform Walmart, but we shall see. And then last but not least on the stream today, we have Chipotle stock announcing that they are going to be creating a new buyback because that stock has not performed well. Also, it's in the target basement level performance levels. Let's see where they're actually at right now. Chipotle is down about 35% this year. So the stock has not done great. What does this new buyback, which actually sent the shares higher today, is that a one-day thing? Is it a sign of desperation for the company? Or is it a sign of confidence that the company believes, you know what, our shares are undervalued and this is a good use of our capital, and that means that we should be buying it too? We have checked on some of these stocks in the Prospero signals recently, and they haven't looked that great. But maybe we're in that troughing phase right now, and we're about to come out on the other side of it. The market's moving so much. Let's see if anything has changed since I last looked. All right, it looks like the market's feeling a bit better. The SPY is approaching the even line on the day, so it's coming back. Check the market now, yeah, and the QQQ is the highest it's been since the announcement. So it looks like the market's in a bit of a better mood since we started the stream. I don't know if Powell is still speaking right now, but if he is, Powell's words tend to move the markets even more sometimes than the actual decision, which didn't surprise the market really. JC said, "Game on." Yes, everybody was waiting for this decision, and now it's finally here, right? But I believe there was like something like a 95% priced in quarter point cut before it was announced. So really no surprise there probably. So maybe what Powell is saying now can be more bullish or bearish depending on what he says for the market even. Let's see QQQ, SPY and option sentiment, if anything has changed in Prospero. Still seeing 0 for SPY, but QQQ is now up to 18, so coming back up a little bit from its lows. It hit as low as 11 today. So it was 11 at 12:38, so almost double from its lows of the day now. Who thinks all of the markets will be green by the time the stream is over today? Let's see some people on X if you're watching, or YouTube. Let me know. Do you think that, just comment green or red if you think the market will end the day in the green or red? Right now, the SPY has turned green and the QQQ is looking like it's about to too. So let's see. Let's see. You guys have like a 50-50, almost a 50-50 proposition here. JC said green. Cyrus said green. We have some bulls in the chat. Let's go. Gilbert Green, Brian Green. Everybody thinks it's going to go green. All right. We shall see. We shall see. Let's see. We have to make this interesting with our viewers. If it doesn't go green, I will say red since everybody has said green. If it doesn't go green, what can you guys do for Prospero? You can like share our stream with one of your friends. That'll be a good. We have a wager on our hands. Hello, George.
Hello.
We are
Like
seeing
a
some
real
wild swings in the market.
like
right
a
now.
real moron, I have I forgot that my computer needed to be updated last time, and I just skipped it, and it decided to update against my will. So we're gonna start with the model portfolio today.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Sorry, Brent. Oh, let me just like send out that we're starting, and then we'll dive right in. Not bad to update it. Although I Our portfolio is doing well. I added a bunch of shorts, especially, but they're looking pretty good. Let's get this sent out.
Well, we saw this. So the decision came out, and it was an initial bull reaction, and then we saw a big dip, but now it's completed its V, and it is recovering, and then some seemingly right now. So the market seems very happy from what Powell is saying after even the decision came out today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy to be like fairly even long short. Like in the end, like that's where I arrived. Um, oh, I think that's my computer deciding it's done. Um, but nonetheless, we will jump in here in a second. Um, I forgot. I got too many things in my head.
We see how some of the bigger Mag 7 stocks are looking. We have Apple green, Amazon red, Google red, Meta red, Microsoft green, Tesla green, and Nvidia red. So pretty split across the mega caps. I know before this you were kind of thinking maybe the better place to be in for the first time in a while would be smaller caps versus the mega caps. Do you still kind of feel that way from what you're seeing? Better reaction?
Let's get like a real time. Um, let's get a real time. Oh yeah, my shorts are doing, even in this market recovery, my shorts are still doing great. Um, Picked the right ones. I'm checking on like because for the first time yesterday, I'm looking it up. I keep forgetting what it is. For the first time yesterday, I saw like I think IWD. No, it's not that. I just had to search it. It was like it was IWF was at the top of momentum score. Yeah, it's really climbing right now. Um, it's still a little lower, but yeah, that's the growth 1000. Um, let's see if it's above the QQQ yet, but yeah, I have Um, it is. But let's do. I want to. I don't have that much time after for today. So I do want to. Um, I do want to get moving on this model portfolio.
Does ASTS align with that growth thought you were just sharing? Because Jonathan's asking about why you added it in the chat.
Oh, I mean, if you look at the chart, ASTS at the net option sentiment chart, ASTS, I mean, it was going up when other things were going down. And when I added it, it was at 82, which is actually the high. It's above the high for the chart. So anytime I see that, and I've been watching ASTS long enough to know that 80 is good. 80 is good for ASTS. Like on a lot of the runs, I see it hit there. So that was the thinking. It looks like the market, it looks like we're headed back down. But I feel good. I feel good where we're at. I think I picked some really good shorts. When I go back to that, like there was a really good suggestion from one of our readers to like just explain what I'm thinking more on these and like what I'm looking at. So I'm actually going to just walk through all those positions in time series. But first things first, let's do the letter.
I think you might actually want to see the market end red today because me and the viewers have a bet. If it ends red, they have to share the streams with a friend. Everybody that's watching, so at least 0.01 red. We need it.
That's hilarious. I don't know. I don't know how you feel. I don't know how you feel. How I feel about you betting with our listeners.
Well, I just asked everybody, and everybody said green, so I just figured I'd take the other side.
Well, you do what you can, Stephen. Okay, let's. God, I have too many windows as usual. Do I have any of the ones that I'm looking for? Oh God, I have a lot. I actually have more than I thought to do on this, but I might actually come back to the Prospero lab after we do the topics. I kind of want to update the screener. All right, one thing at a time. I'm trying to do too many things. All right, where is SPY and QQQ net option sentiment?
SPY is at 0 and QQQ is at 18. Oh, we just got an update. SPY is at 3 and QQQ at 11. I don't think George is going to go for that, JC. He said, if we win, we get the free alerts.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But I think tomorrow is the day. All right, you should see this. I always debate if it's faster to grab this data, type it myself. I think it's a little faster to grab it. Presuming I don't make any errors like that. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Yeah. This is great to see.
So we're definitely seeing some odd combos here, but definitely in line with what we've been saying, that small caps are the best way to play this event.
Okay. I almost went 2x of FedEx in the investing portfolio because I actually saw it drop from 30 net option sentiment prior to the announcement drop from 70 to 30. So I was like, yeah, it doesn't get much clearer than that. Oh, hold on, let me grab this. Okay. All right, let's see what we got going here. All right, I have to keep in mind I added, I think, a net 6 shorts. I don't think I opened this yet. Don't do me like this. We got to get this out by 3:30. How long does it? Yeah, I mean, normally we spend more than a half hour on the topics, right, Stephen?
Yes, but I can.
I better
We
hurry
can.
up.
Yeah, we can speed through them.
We have 3 core weaves. Yeah, let's get that. Let's maybe get out of 2 of the core weaves and 1 of the Palantirs. Let's just reduce our. Anything else? Nice, we got 2 Baidus in there. I don't know. Does anyone know? I mean, I think it's related to chips, but Baidu's going a lot more than Alibaba today, which also has like positive exposure to the chip story. So I mean, we obviously got it right. Chalk one up to the bull screener, another one up to the bull screener being right. Like, you guys know how I feel about China stocks. If I didn't see Baidu on the top of the screener. All right, so we have 36 and 43, so that's 7 ahead. Okay, so we're pretty even. We're pretty even long short right now, but I wouldn't be surprised.
JC is asking, what's your rationale for like 1x positions in the investing portfolio, but occasional multiple positioning in the trading?
It's just the trading portfolio is a lot larger. If I'm gonna have like a real time impact on it, like, you need to put 2. Otherwise, you're not really doing much in such a large portfolio. Like and like what I'd say further is like the idea why I do those during the day is I feel I need to rebalance quickly. So I'm not really rebalancing in the same way by the same force at 1. And I mean, if you look, a lot of the ones that I added are already doing like pretty well on the short side, even as the market's recovered. Like Robert Half is down. Let's see, FedEx I think is probably down from where. Yeah, that's down. I mean, I think all of them. ANF down. That one's probably looking the best. PAM. But yeah, even though the market's recovered, maybe definitely recovered from where I added them. All of those are below the market. So yeah, it looks like good calls. Those will have a good impact. All right, I can't get too distracted here. We gotta stay on task. What am I doing? I am doing this. If I can find the screener, maybe it's in a different spot. Yes. Okay. Roblox. All right, let's do that. And then let's get this going. MSTR, that's interesting. Can you check how many like Coinbase, or I think we have 2 Coinbase, right? I don't want to get overly exposed to crypto, but that momentum score on MSTR has me intrigued. Oh, the market. You might lose your bet, Stephen. Let's get rid of this. Oh, damn. Did I not do? I don't think I did. Did I do ASGN too? I think I missed ASGN at the trading ladder. Damn. Well, I actually don't know how it's doing since I added it. Huh. Good. All right. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to get rid of the ones I already added.
I see 1 coin.
What?
1 coin open.
Okay, we'll grab an MSTR then, because I don't know what that's doing in momentum, but I'm kind of interested. All right, so let's see what we're doing. All right, we're just gonna grab these. I don't know what's going on with Mo, but is there any healthcare up here? No, I don't want to. I'm actually gonna do RIGL. I gotta see what the hell's going on with that. No, I want. Give me this. I don't like it when it looks like that. Okay, we'll do it. Maybe we'll do all those. I think we have a decent amount of healthcare already. Okay, so that is 9. We don't have any SNPS, I don't think, right?
Not that I'm scanning. Nope.
Oh, all right. I mean, this is not really how I wanted to do this. Yeah, I need to. Oh, SVT. Why not? I really don't. I changed my mind. I'm not going to add NSTR. All right, then I want. Oh, we got it. We got to get this done by 3:30. What's the market doing? Up. All right, we have that. All right, let's get these small caps. All right, we did that. CRC. All right, BBAI and CRC. What is going on with SVT? I don't know, but that's very high. Can we do better than that? What is this? Consumer cyclical. JMIA. All right, that's good, great, Grant. Okay, and now I gotta do this. I just feel compelled before we go over. What am I gonna do? Come on. I sent the letter, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna do this. This is the janky way that I do this, everybody. What I need to do. Oh, look, Wolf, one of the new ones. Oops. Not enough. Wow. Wolf is looking kind of interesting. What is CIFR?
Cipher mining.
Whoa. Might be time to add cipher mining. Let me just check how far it is from. Ugh. Is this I mean, this is tempting. But is this? I might have to think more about this, but let's see. Let's see the net option sentiment trend. I mean, it is heading up. Downside is heading up. I want to think about this more. All right. We need to think about this more. But it is very interesting. What about Wolf? I'm like nervous about that 6 point. Terrible also looks interesting. You know what? We're gonna go for it. Okay. I mean, I guess we could have done EOS too. But I was just like, I hadn't seen. Okay. Now, why should I have done EOS and not Cypher? I don't think I can do it. Okay. EOS is 74 net option sentiment. Okay, I gotta get to our stuff. I'm distracted by all this action. Okay. Did I actually? Oh no, I didn't save this yet. Stupid. Okay, actually, while I'm doing this, let's multitask. We're doing that. We're getting everything done. Saved. All right, let's just confirm that this is in. Do we see this in the screener? Not yet. Oh, that's funny. CIFR was in the old screener too. Okay, new screener in, posting the notification, and I will see you guys. We'll reverse. I'll see you guys in the other place.
Alrighty, we will catch you on the other side. Thank you, everybody.
I'm like, I'll get to it.
Yeah, we got some good questions from SoFlo in the chat for George. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the switch up today, the model portfolio first. I see we have had over 1,300 people in here already on this big day in the markets. Let's see how the QQQ and SPY are looking. I saw they popped up into the green for a brief moment, but it looks like, oh my goodness, the SPY is actually completely flat on the day right now. QQQ barely in the red, 0.06 down. Russell and Dow still leading on the day in the green. So we're seeing some volatility, but not a huge move either way really in the markets right now. Pretty muted. Although we did see that pretty big dip at one point. The QQQ was down over 1%, but all the way back now. We will see how we close today. We'll get into the breakdown of what the Fed decision means for the markets in just a moment when George gets back in here. If anybody's new and watching and a little bit confused on what you were just seeing, so at Prospero, we have a model portfolio. We have trading and investing, and we update the model portfolio on these streams. We go live every Monday at 11 a.m., Wednesday at 3 p.m. are our typical times. And you get to see the live moves that George is making, so what he's adding and dropping. So that is what you saw in the first half of the stream today. And we have George back in here. We probably should just jump right into, I guess, how you're feeling about the Fed decision, if it changes anything in your opinion from before it was announced. We got what the market was expecting, a 1/4 point cut, and it seems like, I mean, we've been streaming, so I didn't really get to hear entirely what Jerome Powell was saying, but the market started rising when he started speaking again. So I assume the market was happy with what he had to say. So do you feel any differently about the market from where we were before to where we are now?
No. I mean, this is kind of par for the course of what I was expecting, right down to, small caps being, the most reliable coming out of the situation, right? I think that initially what made the market, I was listening to Powell and making a lot of my moves as like Powell was going. And I think, when he was really kind of talking about inflation, the stickiness, and we might still see impacts, I think, maybe that there might not be as many rate cuts, like what people were predicting for it. I think there was kind of a reaction to that. But, I think the rebound came a lot more when he was really talking about like the seriousness of the labor markets and, how they really have to be, mindful about that portion. And, even little things like, they asked if he had would make a 50 basis point cut. And he said that was, the kind of thing when you think you were late on policy. He doesn't think that they're late on policy, but he absolutely thinks that that they need to be mindful of it, and the labor situation is, certainly getting concerning. But I just have to say, I always find is like the way he just refuses to give any information. They were all asking him about like Bessent's comments. They were asking him about like the Lisa Cook case, and he just like refuses to give any information. I just like find it hilarious. It's kind of like when Bill Belichick used to have press conferences, and you just like, it's like, why are people even asking him those questions? There's zero chance he's going to take the bait on that.
So there was the Patriot way, and now there's the Powell way. We should probably, hopefully SoFlo's still in here, get into their questions. They were asking about the downside breakout tab in the Prospero app. If you go to the lowest section of it, it has stocks that have missing data, and wondering if maybe we're not aware of it, I guess, and if we could filter it out. But then also asking if there's any way that our users can create their own screeners with the scores.
Let me look. Yeah. I think we recently changed this system, but yes, thank you. We'll fix this. One second. Sorry, I got distracted. What was it? What was the thing before the downside breakout?
If our users are able to create their own screeners.
Oh yeah, it's on our longer term roadmap, and like what we always say is like, if you want more of these features, the best time is now, making sure our crowdfund goes well. If we get to the top of that, we'll be able to build a lot of these things simultaneously. If not, we're going to have to be more refined into what we build. Like ultimately, we do want to offer a lot of things like that, like custom screeners. But there's like a reason why like something like alerts is prioritized more, because like part of what we think the value of Prospero is that we're condensing information for people and showing you like when the daily screener, like what we think is the most important information. Not that I don't think people should be self-directed, but that's how we like prioritize. We prioritize things that we think are helping filter, condense information over things that are just like, creating information overload. But yeah, like that is something that we absolutely want to build. We want to build out alerts for particular screeners. All of those things can be much more easily on the roadmap if we get to the top end of that crowdfund. So tell your friends.
Gilbert said, wow, the Belichick comparison, never thought of it. Seems fair though. I want to bring up NVIDIA on the stream because we've gotten even seemingly more pressure from China on them, and their stock was down about 2.5% this morning. And Jensen Huang actually responded, which I feel like is the first time I've seen him really talk about it. And we always give him credit for being a smooth operator, but do you think he will be able to manage the situation, or is it out of his hands and NVIDIA is kind of stuck in the middle of something bigger here?
I think both things you just said are, could be true, could be considered true, right? I think to an extent it's out of his hands, but like where it's not as in his hands is like, I think, Trump obviously has a lot of ability to affect this, and Jensen has shown that he can get Trump to move on things. So that's where it is. Like him individually, without like kind of currying favor, exerting influence on Trump, I don't think can do much. But absolutely, I think there's a lot that Trump can do to like warm the relationship more with China. I'm not saying whether or not that's a good idea, just that it's certainly possible that Trump can, have an impact on things, put up more olive branches. But I do think we're starting to see a pretty scary thing in terms of, Baidu, Alibaba, the market reacting positively to them making their own chips. Not that NVIDIA needs China. It's obviously, big enough on its own, although it would take a pretty big hit if there was just zero coming from China. But I do think we are getting closer to the day where the geopolitical risk of dealing with the US, like, because it's not just like, are these chips better? Are they more expensive? Can we make them our own? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I do think we're also getting to a point where the incentives are skewed more for people to use their own chips, build their own chips, even if they're going to be inferior for the time being or long term, right? I think you have to, as a trade counterparty to us, take all of this more seriously in terms of like, you don't know if the chips you depend on at some point are going to be jacked up 100%. You don't know if they're going to be cut off from trade in, you know, a situation of trying to get, you know, negotiating leverage. So I think that's like where I think there was not even a lot more effort, because it's like, we're never going to beat NVIDIA. We're never going to make any chips. You know, we're in CUDA software. So, you know, our existing systems might not be able to communicate. I think whereas that was just too large of a disincentive for people before to even, you know, make it a big part of their plan to, you know, use these chips, invent them, invest in them. I do think like the geopolitical shift has created more of an incentive, and this might be a real thing.
So it didn't sound like you were too concerned, really, even if like the China market kind of goes away. But is there any concern from you that American companies could buy chips from Alibaba or Baidu, or does it work in the reverse way, where like if China's not going to allow NVIDIA, USA won't allow them?
I don't really see that as a realistic possibility, because like then the chips would have to be like faster and cheaper, which is like theoretically possible. But I even think in the paradigm where we're at, like those would be tariffed. Like if there was a real threat coming from China in terms of chips, I don't want to brush off the impact on, you know, I don't know. I think it might be 15% of NVIDIA's business in China. I don't know. That's just a number I'm remembering. I don't know if that's accurate. But it's not, it's not everything. It's not doomsday. It's not anything like that. And I don't necessarily think it's even coming soon. I just think the important thing to comment on is I do think the geopolitical disincentives are starting to add up in terms of, you know, how much companies, especially in ones with more hostile trade relations with us, like China, start to factor in how they might plan for the future away from these chips more.
So Lyft and Waymo announced partnership that they're going to be doing in Nashville for the full self-driving cars, and Lyft shares are up today. And I actually didn't realize now Lyft shares are up 73% year to date. So it's looking like this full self-driving is really revitalizing them. We covered this story from like the Google, Amazon, Tesla perspective, but now from the Lyft, Uber perspective, it seems like this is becoming a real thing for them even, and their stocks are moving. So which side of it do you think has the more potential from where the stocks are now for the next months and years ahead? Is it, the services side, or the, product, car, physical side of it from the other side?
Damn, look at Cypher go. Did anyone else get in on Cypher? Up like 2.5% just since we entered. God, it could fall that fast, but feeling good about that one. Lyft. I think they're a good like relative value. I mean, especially this is a really good partnership. Like we talk about, like Uber might have something to say, but I think this is a really, really good partnership for them. And there could be a lot of potential value, right? We often talk about like Waymo, like the best hardware, right? In my opinion, in terms of especially risk minimization, but it's more expensive, right? All of a sudden, if you have Google and Lyft both investing resources in it, could be interesting. And Lyft, I knew someone when I lived in San Francisco who worked in like public policy for Lyft. So you also have that, right? There's a lot of public policy relationships, infrastructure. Not that Google doesn't have them too, but you can kind of do double the work. And like, Google doesn't necessarily have as many like transportation specific public policy infrastructure. So I think that's a really good partnership. I'm interested to see what Lyft is looking good in the signals. Good net option sentiment. I mean, yeah, I could talk myself into Lyft long, certainly in the trading letter.
Interesting. And another stock that has looked great in the signals for um, a lot of the time recently is Reddit, and their stock was moving on the story that they are negotiating another contract with Google for their data to be used for AI and training and all this. And I'm wondering, I have a bit of a larger question about this whole thing is so like while this industry is booming and building itself right now, this data is at a premium. But is it going to always be that way if these models are trained to a point where they're so good? Are they always going to need the data forever and ever? Or are we in this phase right now where like it's really the key time is now? And then so like how long do you think this AI revenue that Reddit is getting, do you think it's a lasting business for them? Or is it like kind of a flash in the pan while the industry is like getting off the ground here?
Um, no, I mean the way models work is if you're buying training data, it's useless if you don't get the live data too. So it's going to be a value business for as long as Reddit is a thing. Like, we might get to a really weird point in the future where they can create. No, it was like synthetic data, but no, you really still need what people are saying live and in real time. The only other thing that I would say on that is if AI systems scrapers get smart enough that they can get around a lot of the scraping technology, or a lot of the anti-scraping technology that these places have, that could be an important variable. However, it's almost always the case that the data charge is less than like the scraping infrastructure you need to get around modern anti-scraping technology. So I think it's a long-term business for sure. And I think the bottom line is Reddit is I think maybe the best data set out there for I think it's one of the better ones for stocks, arguably X. It's becoming a real force. I think because I think one of the many reasons is, a lot of these forums have very strong anti-bot technology, right? And I think that's kind of the worst part of X. You're really sorting through like a lot of slop. I think it's a lot of higher value content, a lot of more human verified content. It's really strong.
Interesting stuff. So I wanted to bring up Target and Walmart back on the stream today. We talked about a very similar topic to this many months ago, where just Walmart has severely outperformed them. Target's now down 34% year today. Walmart up 16%. I wanted to bring it back up and say it then wasn't the time that the reversion of these two stocks will happen. Is now the time, because I saw people floating the idea that Amazon should acquire Target too, since with how much their stock is down. I have a follow up, but just how do you feel about Walmart, Target? Is it time where you think those shares will start coming back more together?
I think the interesting thing with Walmart especially is if this Amazon price thing becomes a bigger story. Like earlier, I would just be like, yeah, Walmart isn't interesting. I mean, I haven't really found Walmart particularly interesting other than perhaps from a value perspective for a long time. But at the end of the day, like I can say it's interesting if the price, like if we find out that like Amazon is, price gouging, there's some switching, but like I'm starting to order some more stuff from Walmart. And it just isn't as good of it's just not as good of an experience, right? Even if it is a little cheaper, like I don't really mind. I don't really mind the markup for like, even if I was told I was paying like a 20% markup on Amazon stuff versus Target for anything I got there. I'd still probably be like, yeah, it's a lot easier to find things, the reviews, all that stuff. I just like the product better. But like, there's also like the search function, the comprehensiveness of the product line. I think all retail is in trouble versus Amazon long term, but there might be a nice short term play if Walmart can start, stealing some business in that way. But I don't really see it.
Now, when I see people talking about like Amazon acquiring Target, I think my mind has been trained by the prior regulatory environment to be like, well, that would never be allowed. But is that right? Do you think that would be allowed in this environment now that we've switched up into? And then Will companies start to take advantage of that going forward? If something like that is allowed and they see that allowed, you'll see more acquisitions take place.
I think in this environment, anything could theoretically be allowed. Like I'm not ruling anything out. It's the most like large corporation friendly, regulatory friendly environment that I think I've ever seen. You know, maybe Clinton, like that's the only other thing I've seen anything like that. But Clinton, you know, had his favorites, like especially Wall Street. I would say this is pretty broad. But yeah, I don't really like Target's business. Amazon might just acquire them like dirt cheap, but I don't really think. I don't know how much. I mean, Amazon had those stores; those didn't go very well. Maybe it was just a test. Maybe they're coming back, and Target could be really interesting. But I don't think Amazon really wants all that like brick and mortar stuff.
People mention it because of like the Whole Foods acquisition that they made, and like similar to that kind of. But yeah, you may be right. We'll have to keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, but I think the difference there is Whole Foods had like a very differentiated product. Like Target, like Target is just kind of like a slightly higher class Walmart. But it doesn't really have like, you know, there's obviously all this Whole Foods moves into your area, and you know your property values go up. Like Target never had that. Like I think Whole Foods is an interesting point, but I think that was a very special situation.
Well, look at us go. Right on time. We have one more topic, even though we did it reverse day. We're still on point. Thank you all for tuning in. We've had close to 2,200 people in the streams so far today. So thank you, whether you're on X or YouTube. Follow us, subscribe, hit that like button. I got to ask you about Chipotle stock because they have been absolutely crushed this year. But the management, it looks like, thinks the shares are undervalued now. They are starting a new $500 million buyback program. And I'm asking you, do you think Chipotle, the business, has problems? Or is it the fact that the CEO left and went to Starbucks and that is really changing the way people are feeling about the company more so than the actual business itself?
I mean, it shows how important executive leadership is. Like I looked at it in the signals, they don't look very good. I mean, I would say based on where it was and where it is in price, there's got to be some theoretical value there. But, you know, maybe a lot of their theoretical value was like, you know, the kind of thing that Kava has, right? Because you could like the prices that it was trading at. I don't really know now, but I think it's down from where it was. We're crazy. So yeah, that's the kind of thing where you have to say like, wow, based on how far it's fallen, I think like about 50% from the highs or something like that. There's got to be some value there. But you always have to remember, right? Especially in this economy, it's about growth, right? And I just think there's not faith in the management, you know, and Chipotle's already grown a lot, right? I don't think that there's necessarily faith in the management that they can continue to grow. And I think and grow in an intelligent way. I think that's what we're seeing.
What's also interesting, I believe his name was Brian Armstrong, if I remember correctly, the CEO who left for Starbucks. They got that crazy 1 day pop which was over a year ago now, when he joined Starbucks, and it's almost all been given back in the past year. They're only about 10% up from before he joined, and they were as high as 115 per share. They're now at 83. So looks like maybe the entire food industry and maybe the lower growth stuff, it's not as exciting. And obviously they don't have really tech and AI in any of those businesses. So haven't really worked since then. But it is 4:01. We made it through the topics in record time. Usually you're the one who's having to press the gas when we run long and you got to do the model portfolio. Today was reverse, but we got it all done. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you, George. Any last thoughts now that we're past the Fed? for everybody?
Yeah. Be careful tomorrow. I think however it opens, that's why I was like trying to stay pretty equal long short. I might even close some stuff at open if I have some good profits on things. But I would watch one direction and then moving in the other. I think that there was a lot of, obviously back and forth uncertainty on exactly how to price this. And I don't think that's over. And I think we could see either a bull trap or a bear trap.
Wise words to lead the stream. JC said, thanks, guys. You are very welcome. We will see you all back here Monday at 11 a.m. for another week of Prospero Lives. But until then, bye, everybody. Thank you, George. Have a great week.